Welcome back, everybody, to The Breachers, VRML. I'm your host, Gibular Bob, joined by the one, the only Jonesy, our VRML league supervisor. How are you doing today, Jonesy?
I'm doing well. I'm actually quite excited for this matchup that we're going to be having because it's pretty much two teams that have always known each other. Obviously, most of AESIR coming from Blaze.
Yeah, and let's talk about that. AESIR EU versus Blaze EU. This is one that I've been excited for. Obviously, I've really wanted to see how AESIR EU play. I haven't gotten the chance to watch this team at all in Season 3, and I'm very excited to see this matchup. And Blaze is not a team that I have seen since Season 2 as well, when they disbanded, I believe, very early on in the season. I was sad to see them go, but they're back now. AESIR EU, they were here all along, and they have already moved up to the #1 spot in the EU standings. So it should be an exciting matchup. Let's take a look at some of the data here between these two teams. AESIR EU with a record of 4-0, same as Blaze EU. Top map for AESIR EU's ship. They played 7 rounds, and they've won all of them. And over on Blaze EU, their best map, Factory, 36 rounds played, 78% of those rounds won. That's a very, very good percentage to have. And I haven't seen either one of these play. So, Jonesy, do you think that one team is going to lead or lean further into the win here? Is it going to be AESIR EU?
I mean, I've casted both of these teams separately. Both have played really well. Some rough moments coming from both teams against quite lower level teams as well. But obviously, like you said, Season 2, Blaze disbanding. Then they switched over to, I can't remember the name exactly, but then it got switched to AESIR. But obviously, Legolo stuck along the whole time. And I reckon some of the ideals might be the same between both of the teams because they do have some similar strategies.
Yeah, I believe it was Fire is what they used to be known as.
Oh yeah, Fire.
Shout out if you remember the Fire days before they became AESIR EU. But yeah, then AESIR EU. This is a big moment for me watching them, because the last time I watched this team play, Jonesy, it was when they lost to Ragnarok in the Season 2 semifinals. And I think some people, I think probably AESIR, you felt like they were robbed a little bit there, because they probably could have gone all the way to the championship to challenge IV. But Ragnarok, they really dug deep and beat one of the best EU teams. And well, we're going to get right into the matchup. No more stalling as we head to our first map, which is going to be Arctic.
Yeah, Arctic, quite an interesting pick as a first map. I'm going to be very quiet behind the intro. I'll just wait.
No worries at all. Yeah, we're hopping into Arctic. First map of the series here. And don't forget that this map was recently reworked a couple weeks ago in the VRML season. You're still allowed to play on it because it was already in the map pool, but it has been I would say it's been interesting to watch the teams adjust to this map, midway through the season. You're not experiencing the same Arctic as you did during week 1. And I think what we've seen, Jonesy, is some teams have been specializing in this map, and they've really started to kind of gain an advantage over the other inexperienced teams.
Yeah, I mean, both of these teams have actually pretty much played Arctic in every single one of their matchups, and it has been some quite good matchups as well. I mean, we immediately see them hopping in through the kitchen here. They have the windows open, and his drone is going through for the side of AESIR.
Looking to get some extra little intel for the team and clear out any roamers. Legolo finding that drone and maybe looking for a pick as well, but they pick up quite a bit of damage from VR Zeta over on the AESIR EU side. Let me swap the teams around. So that way, Blaze on defense and AESIR on the offense. Akira picking up a lot of damage from Mommy Lam Lam DK, and there's a fragmentation grenade. Doesn't quite go where Llama wanted it to.
Yeah, these grenades have obviously been changed recently, now having that guaranteed 3-second fuse time. I mean, Akira nearly grenading himself there as he's ready to throw it in through to B, and it lands right next to Sharky. Doesn't get any tags though. Another nade coming out from AESIR. Extras gets one. That's Sharky down, and sight kind of being taken over as Rise picks up that flanker, Noisy Boy.
And it was a decent flank from Noisy, but Rise, with an even better flank watch, found that pick. And it's a 5 versus 2. Great survivability here from AESIR EU and VRML catching Savage, with round 1 heading over to AESIR EU. And, well, this is the team that I'm used to seeing here. And I've got to say, it's very impressive to go through a pistol round and not lose a single player on your team.
Yeah, I mean, it's not something you see often, but we have seen a lot more teams sort of specialize in that pistol round. They've been putting a lot more practice into it, and I think AESIR here is one to do that. I mean, Extrius is a name that wasn't previously heard in the comp league at this high of a level, and seeing a name that you don't expect in a team like this, it's a wonder to see.
It's interesting because I've seen Extrius rotate between both the NA and EU scenes.
Yeah.
They're on Irradiates, and now they're back over in the EU side of the league, and they're doing quite well for themselves over here on AESIR EU. Good pick. And we're seeing both Rise and Extras catching 2 picks in that first round, while both Ran6 and Akira haven't had the opportunity to find a pick. Rise and Extras hogging all of those kills. Share some with the rest of the class, won't you? As we have 2 minutes 20 on the clock. Mommy Lamb Lamb DK upstairs in the green hallway, looking to maybe find a potential pick onto AESIR.
Yeah, that ping going out on Legolo, it's an immediate ping, and some wall bangs going through. This new wall here in this corridor is a wonderful spot, and making that printer wall not flat against the window. It's just 2 big changes which have completely changed the play of this map.
And AESIR EU are going to try and get control over the half-wall corner. And if we don't see any kind of pressure from Blaze EU soon, that EMP is going to get planted, and it's going to become very, very difficult to get it out of there. VRML picking off Noisy Boy. Very good control over site B. Couple picks falling into the way of AESIR EU, and Rise shutting down the flank once again. And Akira finds that final kill onto Savage to make this a quick 2-0 game for AESIR. And it looks like, Jonesy, they are in complete control over this offensive half.
Yeah, I mean, it is just the first 2 rounds. Right. I know the side of Blaze. Oh, what's up?
Oh, no, I was just agreeing with you.
yeah, it is obviously the first 2 rounds, so you can't really tell much off a team in the first 2 rounds. Both teams, I think, were warming up beforehand. So it does add a little bit of, oh, we've already sort of played, we should be good. But maybe that self-confidence is just getting to them too much.
Yeah, you don't want to see the mental take a drop this early. Hopefully it's still okay over on Blaze. 2 rounds in, there's plenty of time left in this game to make a difference. And most importantly, this is the Vezem round from both of these teams. Noisy opted to pick up that Omen, but they do still have 4 rifles up on Blaze EU, and if they can find a pick onto one of these AESIR players, they may be able to pick up that Vezem and get it to their Omen player. Noisy Boy, of course, going for the Roam. It's the safest option to put somebody without a rifle on the Roam. I guess not that it would matter that much, because AESIR already have 5 rifles anyway. But as we get started with round number 3, can it be a hat trick for AESIR? Looks like that might be the case if Blaze can't find some picks here very, very soon. Savage currently playing center in site B, and that's a good start as Legola finds Extrius. There goes the wall open into boxes. Here comes a fragmentation grenade toss, and Legola picking up a 2nd kill of this round, and that's a good start for Blaze. We'll see if AESIR can bounce back, but it's already a 2 versus 4 here on round 3.
Yeah, I mean, Rise does take down that flank, and he is going to pick up the EMP and a syringe. Ran is quite close, and I mean, it is just a 2v3. We've seen people come back from worse. Using the new throwing mechanic there onto Legolo. Ran 6 nearly getting that incend as a flash flies in, and he's throwing a smoke with it too, and it lands right in connector as Llama takes down Rise 1v3.
Rise catching 1 and 2 and looking for the third onto Lagolo, and they almost find it. But Lagolo down under 12 health does manage to just barely escape from the Vezin of Rise, and Rise is giving away their location, and Lagolo almost finding that pick, but no way! What a shot from Rand 6, who finds the kill and makes it a 3-0 game for AESIR EU. But that got very, very close there, Jonesy.
Yeah, that was very close. Ran there literally on super low HP versus someone with quite a bit more HP. Both had rifles, and I mean, that little lean to the side as he was going down, it really carried him forward, and I don't think Legolo was expecting, was it Legolo? Yeah, Legolo, expecting the head to be there, and Ran could just take the kill, and he managed to secure the 3rd round of the half.
Heartbreaking for Legolo there too. I mean, getting 3 kills in that round and just being unable to pull through in the end there. But if anything, it did harm the economy of AESIR EU a little bit. Akira down to 75. If they go down, they're not going to be able to buy a Vezin next round. But Blaze is still hurting for money here. They have to hero buy for Savage while they carry 3 Omens, and they're going to play an aggressive roam here, I feel, trying to get some early picks and maybe secure some Vezins. But here we go, into round number 4. VRML hanging just outside of green and throwing that drone in, looking to find any kind of aggressive roamers from Blaze. Spots some trip mines there too, always good intel to have for that drone. Here comes Rand 6 up lower red, and Lagolo just manages to escape that drone and could potentially find a pick here if AESIR isn't careful.
Yeah, I don't think Ace is actually going to look at this now. He does only have an Omen. He is going to peek over. He just missed that. But Extras does get noisy. And I mean, there's that sort of COD timing that we always see during these VRML matches as Printer Wall goes down.
Akira Rand 6 pushing into the corner, looking to once again gain control. Rand 6 finds a kill. Mami Llama DK finds VRML, and here comes Lagolo on the flank, finding the headshot, but does get refragged by Akira. And we're now down into a 3 versus 2. And interestingly enough, AESIR EU is the one with the control of the site. Mommy Lam goes down, and Savage, the last member standing of Blaze, and it just doesn't quite work out for this Blaze team. They did catch some picks, and I'd say they did a decent amount of damage, especially considering that was an eco round.
Yeah, I mean, we've had the same spawn point for the players a couple rounds in a row now. But that really is the same as the game, where they're winning the rounds similar ways every time as well. They're just managing to push onto site. They get a bit of a hold, and I think maybe Blaze now will notice that, and they might go for a bit more of a secure, but we already have someone roaming towards Jim.
Yeah, and they just got pushed out of that site. And that's really what's been kind of that common trend, to your point. We're seeing AESIR EU pushing Blaze out of their site, and especially on that floor, they're getting control of the corner way too fast, and we're not seeing too much resistance from Blaze. I need to see some kind of utility, smoke grenade, incendiary, fragmentation. Just try and route your opponent out of that corner so that you can push up and maybe find a pick and prevent AESIR from getting that EMP down. That's all really what you're trying to do. An interesting technique, placing extra utility on top of the hatch so it's immediately dropped down into lounge. Noisy Boy playing aggressive defense here in cafeteria. They get spotted and they're forced to rotate back, and they may catch this drone, but they're going to have to be careful of VRML and Akira, who are close behind.
Yeah, Llama getting that nade out, nearly gets it over, bounces off of one of the plates on the kitchen table, but Akira does manage to take him out, getting a wallbang off of the ping pong table. But Extras is just heading straight towards Storm through the hallway, where there is 3 people there just trying to hold the site, while Akira is now low with Noisy Boy behind.
Oh my goodness, Ran 6 just saved the life of Akira there, and that was really too bad for Noisy Boy. In that situation, I probably would have done the unconventional thing and just walk through the fire to try and find that pick, but they took a little bit too long, and here comes the AESIR EU push. Spooky Sharky managing to find the head of Rise as Ran 6 blind firing. Doesn't find a kill there. Extras, however, picked up Savage, and it's now a 1 versus 4 game with Spooky Sharky pushing through Bathroom. They catch Akira and now have to deal with this 1v3 against Ran 6, VRML, and Extras.
Yeah, this is going to be a hard 1v3 to come back, but he could just be going for a save. He is having a little bit of a lag issue, but he is just looking like he might save. Obviously, we are going into the final round of the half, so having that Vezin, because if you look at the economy, it's kind of ruined, is just going to help a lot, and it is looking like a save with that AMP ticking down.
And it's going to be unfortunate once again for Blaze EU. Their chances of picking up a round in this first half are, well, they're going down very, very quickly. But it is still possible for them to go 5-1 heading into the second half. That's their best case scenario right now. Best case for AESIR EU, hey, the first half lockout is still an option on the table for them. And really quick, I just want to take a look at this replay here. Noisy Boy almost catches Akira, but Ran 6 just spots that roamer so fast and manages to save the life of their teammate. Very, very nice play all around. And, well, Jonesy, if you're Blaze, what are you doing here? What are you trying to do to get control of this game? And here we go into round number 6 of map number 1. And it looks like we have unfortunately lost connection with Jonesy. We'll see if we can get him back soon enough. But round 6, it's the halftime round and could potentially be AESIR's round where they make it a first half lockout, in which case we could be out of this series very, very fast. We're looking at an aggressive playstyle from this AESIR team. Drone moving in to the lower red, just spotting or attempting to spot any kind of roamers. Mommy Lamb Lamb DK is playing an aggressive defense once again, tossing that fragmentation grenade, but the drone is getting so much free intel, and it's a distraction for Mommy Lamb Lamb DK. And, well, in that kind of situation, it's really a lose-lose because that drone is going to keep spotting you and give you the intel, or give the intel to your teammates of when you're pushing. So there's a smoke toss. Legolo in red hallway as Akira finds the kill on a Noisy Boy, and AESIR EU pushing their way into Cloak, and they're going to look to attack the server corner. There goes the breaching foam. It's now down a minute and a half on the clock, and there goes the wall opened up. Fragmentation grenade tossed into the back of Site A. VRML looking for a kill. Flash tossed into the room. It doesn't find anybody, crucially. Spooky Sharky looks for one, goes down. Extras storming in with the double. And Rise with the cleanup kill once again to take out Legolo and make it a first half lockout for AESIR EU. And what a tremendous effort we're seeing here from AESIR so far. They have completely shut out Blaze EU in this first half, and I mean, you know, this is really what I was expecting to see out of AESIR EU. They are a strong, strong team. And, yeah, this is... I really wonder if they're going to be enough of a match to take that number 1 spot this season. Because, again, their postseason ended earlier when Ragnarok pulled off a major upset and took out the AESIR team. And that hurts the, I think, the pride a little bit of the AESIR EU dynasty, or the AESIR dynasty as a whole, which really kind of values winning and staying at the top of each region. Of course, AESIR, the NA team, is the most successful team we've ever had in Breachers VRML, winning preseason, Season 1, Season 2, and, well, they're making decent progress to winning Season 3. But in any case, AESIR EU looking to have a good defensive pistol round here and potentially take map 1 under their belt 7-0 and shut out Blaze EU. Now 1:55 on the clock, and Legolo, Noisy Boy making their way down lower red and just carefully pushing. Rise is looking for some info peaks and may find a kill here. The static is being shot out. VRML gets aggressive and goes down to Mommy Lamb Lamb DK. Rise taking out Noisy Boy. The static finally goes down, but it certainly took a while, didn't it? 1:30 on the clock. We'll go looking to get that breaching foam placed down. There's a frag toss into the back of site B. Catches a bit of damage onto Akira, and there goes the wall open into boxes. And we're going to see a push coming in here from Blaze EU as Legolo looks to get that EMP planted. There comes a frag grenade from Extras and Incin, and that does not catch Legolo, but the Incendiary does. And it's now a 2 versus 2. Akira goes down, leaving just Ran 6 alive. They pick up some damage from Savage, but the EMP has been planted, and now AESIR EU, for the first time in this matchup, is in quite a bit of trouble here. Ran 6 looking for Savage, but it doesn't happen as Savage brings Blaze EU into this game. Very, very good start for Blaze EU in this second half. Shout out to everybody in the chat here. Flamingo, Mr. Tabs, who for some reason I always call Mr. Frags when they're on cast. Void, Tog. Good to see everybody there. Taquito. Nice to see Taquito, one of the leaders of AESIR. I believe the captain of AESIR Vale. Shout out to Taquito there. Showing some support for one of AESIR's many, many teams. And Legolo, wow, immediately picked off VRML, who again, aggressive on the roam here, but to be fair, it is an eco round for AESIR, and Ran 6 is looking for a kill and doesn't find it. Akira is looking for a kill and finds it, but they're going to be refragged by Legolo, who's just storming through the site at this point. Savage finds a kill of their own, and it's now just down to Extrius over in Bathroom. And unfortunately for Extrius, they are super ecoing right now with the Jesper. Maybe save that fragmentation grenade, or at least use it to try and find a pick. Not tossed in a very good spot. I'd say that's a C-tier frag. And Legolo looking to get that EMP planted. There it goes, and unless Extrius starts finding some crazy kills here, which they won't, it's going to be a 6-2 game in favor of AESIR EU. The best that Blaze EU can hope for here is a tie on map number 1, but, well, we'll see if that can happen. And let's take a look at the scoreboard here. Akira with an 8-5. Legolo actually an 8-7. So, I didn't see Extras is running 9-4. That's an impressive KD to have. Shout out to VRML with the 8 assists for AESIR EU. And we may have quite a ways to go in this series unless AESIR EU can start to have a solid defensive half. They do have Vezins, and they're in a very similar situation to what, Blaze EU went through before. With the four Vezins, and well, it looks like Zyda did pick up an Omen. It looks like they've swapped out for that Spectral in favor of some extra utility, and we're seeing an assault once again on the box's site B. 2 minutes 10 on the clock as Noisy Boy and Sharky have picked up a considerable amount of damage. Both Stims are in possession of Blaze EU, or Blaze EU are in possession of both Stims, but apologies for my wording today. VRZyda manages to pick up the Vezin, but the Stim, crucially, is stuck in the floor. And a minute 40 on the clock as Noisy Boy looks for the peek and immediately gets their head taken off by VRZyda. The EMP is going down. Lagola looks to get that planted. That's going to force a push from Ran 6, and Savage managed to find that. Extrius taking out Spooky Sharky as Lagola finds the kill onto VRZyda. Here comes a fragmentation grenade tossed in the middle of boxes, and it doesn't find anybody. Lagola looking to push up and get that EMP planted. Extrius goes down to Savage, and it's now just a 1 versus 2 as Lagola almost goes down to Rise. A battle of the captains. Lagola is caught, and now it's a 1 versus 1 between Rise and Savage. And Rise is going to look to tap that EMP and try and force a move from Savage. And Savage, no, catching Rise. And that cloaking device, even if Rise could see the model of Savage, it was just slowing down the reaction time just a tad bit. But that was all Savage needed to find that kill. And here we go into round number 10. Map number 1. There's the scoreboard once again as Extrius continuing to push up that KD 10-5, while Savage 10-6 over on Blaze EU. So the performances are here from both teams. Noisy Boy unfortunately going 0-9 for Blaze EU. That's not an ideal KD ratio to be having here in this matchup, and we'll see. Any pick can be very, very beneficial to a team. Drone moving once again into kitchen as, well, both teams have a pretty standard Arctic playbook here. We're going to see the push is once again going to be on bunks as Lagola looking for a pick onto Ran 6, and Ran picks up some damage, looking to make use of that Viper, and Lagola just shutting that down. Drone continues to gather information and spots VRZyda. Zyda, don't peek that. There's Vezins out there. You don't want to do that at all. Savage is going to look for the pick onto Zyda, who's just caught a little bit here, catching a bit of damage onto Savage, but ultimately, Blaze are still looking very good in this push. Here's Akira out on the flank with that Omen, and may catch Noisy. No! Noisy finding the pick onto Akira, and that could be curtains for AESIR in this round. They don't have any Vezins up still. There's the wall blown into Site B. Lagola pushing in, and Rise managing to find the kill onto the captain of Blaze EU. Fragmentation grenade is tossed, doesn't find anybody, but Rise picks up a second headshot in the meantime, and a minute 7 on the clock as Savage catching Rise through the wall. Extras is picked off as well, and it's now just down to VRZyda on the flank here, and they manage, crucially, to pick up that Vezin. They're either going to play the saving game or they're going to go for it. Question is, which one do you do if you're in VRZyda's shoes? And it looks like VRZyda might go for this clutch. Spooky Sharky watching one end of the site and Mommy Lamb Lamb watching the other. They're over in gym. And Zyda just moving through. They push! Mommy Lamb Lamb DK and Spooky Sharky actually over in the corner of Site B. I thought they were over in bathroom, but VRML is going to look to bait out that headshot. And, I think time may just be out here for VRML. And it doesn't matter anyway, as Spooky Sharky finds that kill to make it a 6-4 game. And Blaze EU are now just 2 rounds off of tying up against AESIR EU. What was an extremely dominant first half from AESIR EU has now quickly turned into quite the comeback here from Blaze. And we'll see if Blaze can continue to keep this pace up. They've won 4 rounds in a row. And they just need 2 more to tie this up against AESIR. Well, we're starting to see the performance coming out from everybody here. We now have 4 players in the double digits. Savage, Lagolo, Extras, and Rise. As we move into round number 11, Lagolo picking up that cloaking device and buying some extra util for their teammate. And the cash is flowing in for Blaze. Sights on the middle floor, which interestingly enough, I don't believe we've had this site combination for AESIR on this map so far. Blaze has played on it, but we have not seen an AESIR EU defense of this site. VRZeta picking up some damage through the vent as Noisy Boy looking to toss a fragmentation grenade. Doesn't quite go where they wanted to, but it does take out that static field emitter, so at least you're getting some performance out of that. VRZeta and Ransix both over in red with 1:50 on the clock, and Zyda is going to look for a headshot, but we're seeing... Extras is playing very aggressively here. We're going to see Blaze go for the attack on the corner. And they may potentially find a pick here. No, they go down immediately. Very, very nice reaction for... Savage. Okay, good recovery there. Lagola might have gotten bombed by their own teammate. No, and they push out in the frag. An S-tier frag from Rise. And that's really the kind of pressure we need to see on the corner there. And this is good for AESIR EU. It's a 3 versus 3. You hear that new special Cyclone bundle as Ransix finds the kill. On to Mommy Lamb Lamb DK. Rise finds another kill. And it's now a 1 versus 1 between Spooky Sharky and Rise. The EMP has not been playing to get only a minute on the clock as Rise playing center in Site B. And Spooky's looking the wrong way. It's a 7-4 game with AESIR EU finally taking that final point here on map number 1. Very, very nice clutch from Rise all around. And what a first map that has been. Let me take Jonesy out of here. I don't believe Jonesy will be returning, unfortunately, but very, very nice round and map overall from AESIR EU. And shout out to Blaze as well, because Blaze put in a very, very decent performance. They found 4 rounds in a row, which is not an easy thing to do. And had they had gotten a round on the offense, maybe 1 or 2, we could have very well seen a different outcome. We might have actually seen a tie or perhaps even a win for Blaze EU, but they played a very, very solid defensive half, and looks like we are getting ready to swap the sides for our next map, which the teams are currently voting for. I think I have the bans here. No, I don't. So we don't know what the teams have banned. At least I don't off the top of my head. Let's take a look and see. I believe AESIR EU is home in this matchup. So Judging off of that, yeah, it's going to be Blaze's pick now, and if it hasn't been banned, I'd say we're going to go and see Factory, but Arctic was another high-performing map for them and didn't go quite well. It's going to be Ship. That's going to be map number 2, and funnily enough, this is the map that AESIR EU has won every single round that they've played. They've played 7 rounds, and they've won all 7. And Blaze EU, they played 20 rounds, and they've won 10 of them. 50% of the rounds they played on this map they've won. So it's not the worst set of statistics, but it could also be a bit dangerous for Blaze EU here. We'll see. Perhaps they are very confident in their Ship game, or I wonder if they maybe decided to pick the side that they were going to start on as they moved over to their defensive half. And we, in the meantime, are going to get started with our second map of this matchup, which is going to be Ship. Was a solid start for AESIR EU, and Blaze caught off quite a bit of that momentum. But now AESIR is back on the side that they are, well, it looks like they were far more comfortable with, which is their offensive half. Now Ship is still thought to be a defender-sided map, so potentially we could see Blaze pick up a very, very nice defensive half here. They're going to need to find some early momentum if they want to stay in this game against AESIR EU. If you're just joining us, map 1 went 7-4 in favor of AESIR, and they're looking to make it a quick 2-map series. Drone already moving in, Rise spotting for the rest of their team as Rand6 makes entry over into Helm. And it's going to look to find maybe a quick pick here. But Mommy Lamb looking to take out Extrius. And the fragmentation grenade just does not find that pick. And it was an F-tier frag from Extrius in response. But it is what it is, Akira. All right, not an F, maybe a C. I'd say it's a C-tier frag. F-tier is if you're taking out your own teammates with it, but Mommy Lamb looking for a pick and finds one on the Rand. Akira's going to look for the refrag, but Rise finds it first. However, they come out of that with a lot of damage and eventually go down to Legolo, and Akira catching that refrag. VRML, meantime, finds Noisy Boy. And here comes a push through the bathroom. The wall has been opened into site A. AESIR has quite a few angles open. Zaida goes down to Savage, who drops the second kill, and Akira walks right in through the vent. I don't think either Blaze player has any idea. And Akira is now very, very low, and Snoopy, oh no, they just barely go down to Akira. But a very, very nice opening there, and a clutch for Akira. 1v2, and they're going to get that EMP planted for the money and the score. Very, very nice for Akira. Good clutch. Leaderboard's mess out. Unfortunately, it is. I apologize for that, Circus Saw. Having some sort of bug on my end. I'm going to look to see if I can get that fixed. Hopefully, it will be. But in the meantime, let me put up the regular in-game scoreboard. And apologies for that. And here we go into round number 2 of map number 2. And will AESIR continue to cement their lead above Blaze? It was a clutch for Akira. So potentially Blaze could have a very, very strong defense on ship. And they're going to need to find as many rounds as they can. They've given up one to AESIR EU, and if they have a bad offensive half, well, things could go very, very bad or poorly for Blaze once they move over to the other side. But we'll see. 1:50 on the clock right now as Noisy Boy taking an aggressive angle at the corner and runs out. Just caught by Extras and ran 6 as there goes an incendiary toss into the back of Site A. Rise finds the kill on the Golo. Extras with an S-tier frag onto Savage, making up for the C-tier frag. In the previous round, Extras finds a collateral onto Spooky Snoopy, and Rise taking out Lamb Lamb to make it a 2-0 game. And that looks like the AESIR EU we were really used to in that Arctic map. Vezins across the board from both teams, except for Noisy Boy. They, I believe, are going to be running that support player role for the rest of Blaze. And AESIR have been doing very, very well in this matchup and could continue to turn this game into their favor, but we'll see. Blaze had a good pistol round, but they did not have a good second round. So potentially, now that they have some Vezins in their hands, and it looks like Noisy Boy is going to run the Vezin, and Spooky Snoopy is going to run with that Omen. Instead, potentially, could see Blaze find a round here against AESIR EU. It's important to not get locked out. That's just the objective here. They got locked out in the previous map, and it unfortunately cost them, despite having a very, very strong second half. Entry. Upstairs is multiple flashbangs tossed over to VRML, who is going to lead the charge for the team into navigation. And it looks like it will be an assault onto Site B. They may try a full send down the hatch here. It's been opened up and doesn't look like AESIR are going to get that aggressive. Savage waiting in a very strong position in kitchen on the chance that AESIR does manage to try that full send. Rise, in the meantime, has found the kill onto Noisy Boy, who was roaming. And that's another Vezin down for Blaze. I'm surprised we didn't see Spooky Snoopy roaming instead. Lagolo finding the kill onto Rise. Fragmentation grenade is tossed. C-tier doesn't go where they wanted to. Mommy Lamb Lamb DK dropping a double kill as Akira manages to find Lagolo. The clutch master from round number 1. Can they find a clutch once again as they move through bunks and ran 6, just clearing any kind of flanker. Akira finds the kill onto Mommy Lamb Lamb DK. Manages to recover that healing syringe, and only 45 seconds on the clock as Akira recovering that cloaking device. And we're seeing some blind fire here from Blaze EU. They're just going to look to find some damage here. And oh, Snoopy, don't try that. I've tried that before, and it did not end well for me. Take my word for it. There goes the wall. It's been opened up. A fragmentation grenade is tossed. C-tier doesn't go where they want it to go. And Ran 6 is pushing in, but got very, very deep into the sights. And Blaze EU have picked up their first round of map number 2. And here we go once again with the scoreboard. We're seeing some pretty even kill distribution among the top 2, top 3 of the leaderboard. And, well, Spooky Snoopy, Noisy Boy, VRML ran 6. They are just struggling to find some kills in this matchup so far. It's again early. Round 4 of 12, so there's plenty of time for these players to start finding some picks here. But AESIR are definitely not as strong here on ship as they were on Arctic. That Arctic offense looked like it was a cut and dry 7-0 setup. And once they moved over to defense, things just never really went back to how they were. Smoke grenade is tossed by Mommy Lamb Lamb DK, who has been finding a very decent amount of kills so far as a defender. 2 minutes 10 on the clock, and what a frag. It goes under the door blocker and doesn't find any damage, but it was certainly an impressive throw, and Mommy Lamb Lamb dropping a double kill, but does get refragged by VRML. And now 1:55 on the clock, and it's a 3 versus 4 already. Noisy Boy running with that Taurus, going to look for the headshots. As Akira watching over the head peak, looking to find any aggressive Blaze EU players, but proximity alarm does go off. VRZeta manages to get the foam on the wall, and it has been open. Lagolo is going to look for a kill, but they go down instead to VRZeta, who is playing very aggressive here. Looks to bait out the trip mines. It doesn't happen yet. Fragmentation grenade is thrown. It's going to rout VRZeta a little bit, and they're still just unable to get those trip mines, and they're going to walk right into the site, and trip mines aren't going to go off. And I think maybe, I wonder if Blaze are too distracted to notice that VRZeta is already in the site. They definitely heard the EMP sound cue. Spooky Snoopy found one. VRZeta catching one kill and looks for the second. But Noisy Boy on the refrag to make it a 2-2 game for Blaze EU. Very, very solid round overall. And Blaze are really bouncing back here on their defensive half. It is a 2-2 game. It's anybody's game to pull ahead in at the moment. But so far, Blaze definitely have the better momentum here on their offensive half. Excuse me, on their defensive half. They've found some very, very nice rounds. And they do have a couple of Vezins out. They've got 4 Vezins on both sides. And, oh, actually 5 over on Blaze. Interesting. I saw an SMG at the beginning of the round, but they're going all in here. If they do lose this round, well, they are going to be down a little bit in terms of money, but we'll see how they do over on Blaze. They've had, again, some very nice rounds previously, so I have a feeling they're quite confident in their abilities so far. But they're certainly making AESIR work for every round here. They're not giving up this round easily. Or this series at all. The vote was 48-5 in favor of AESIR EU. Akira finding the kill onto Legolo as AESIR on the move. They're heading over into Lounge right now, and there goes a kill from VRZite onto Noisy Boy. Snoopy looking to push out and finds 2. Aggressive push. Doesn't manage to catch a third, though. Extras found that refrag before Snoopy had the chance. The EMP is down over in Lounge. Extras looking to recover that, and Savage is stuck playing 2 very difficult angles at once. Mommy Lamb Lamb gets caught before they could take out the lurk in bathroom, and Savage just has nowhere to go and must go down to Ran 6. And it is a 2-3 game. AESIR EU now taking the momentum here in this first half. And it's all going to come down to, will Blaze EU be able to find a third round here and take us into the second half of this game tie? That is the question. When is there going to be an EU VRML con? I hope there will be one soon. I believe there is going to be an EU LAN next weekend, which I personally will be tuning into. I hear there's supposed to be a bunch of fun little games, and some Breaches is going to be one of those games. So I'm excited to see some of these teams play live on stage. I got the chance to go to VRML Con 2024 this year in Denver, Colorado. That was a ton of fun. Got to commentate there on the desk with both Knifefire and Martini. And so I hope that one day there will be an opportunity for EU players to go to VRML Con. Maybe we can have a global LAN at one point. But we need the league to grow. So share it around with everybody you know, and maybe we'll be able to have that global VRML con LAN. But flashbang tossed into the back of Pump, and a fragmentation grenade is Ran6 just ran through the fire. And Akira with 2 quick kills make that a 4-2 game, and AESIR made that look easy. What around there? Oh no, Akira, no. Not like this. And here we go into the second half of this game. AESIR EU, strong start. 4-2 lead as they move into defense. And Chip is thought to be a defensive map, so, well, if they find the pistol round, they could turn this into a 6-2 before Blaze has the opportunity to pull out rifles. And, of course, is banking on whether or not AESIR can win this pistol round. Blaze has put in a good performance here, too. They are 2 rounds down. It was a strong start from Blaze into this second map. They found some very nice rounds, but they've started to fall back on momentum once again. And here we go into round number 7 as there's a push on the hatch from Lagola, who's going to drone for the rest of their team. And Mommy Lam Lam, Spooky Snoopy pushing in to Coffee. And the rest of Helm, VRZeta on the flank there. Doesn't have a cloaking device on. It's just a bug with the spectator client. But it's 2 minutes on the clock as Ran6 is about to run right into 2 Blaze players, and they catch 1, but do get refragged by Mommy Lam Lam DK. Ultimately, not a total loss for AESIR, as it's really kind of a trade on the first pick, but VRZeta on the roam there did manage to find Lagolo. And the numbers are in favor of AESIR right now. Spooky Snoopy almost catching Akira, but Extrius with a nice crossfire managed to catch the head of Spooky Snoopy. And there goes the wall. It's been opened up. Noisy Boy is going to look for a kill onto Akira. They don't find one. Rise taking out Savage, and it's now just down to Noisy Boy. And Rise dropping that double kill to make it 5-2. And my prediction is coming to light. We may just see AESIR EU walk out of here with this next round as well. If they purchase Vezin, which is absolutely going to happen. Rise picking that up. Into round number 8 we go. There's the scoreboard once again. And AESIR EU's defense is looking very, very promising here at the start of their second half. Remember, they could potentially take home this next round using that Vezin. As long as Rise doesn't give that up early and we don't see any kind of simple mistakes from AESIR, they could take this next round and move into a 6-2 game once again before Blaze really has the opportunity to pick up some rifles and find a round of their own. And there was some padding there for Blaze. They did win 2 rounds in the first half, so there's potential for them to lose some rounds here. But VRML immediately taking out Noisy Boy. They got caught, though, by Savage. Minute 55 on the clock as Ran6 catches Mommy Lamb DK and an F-tier frag from Akira, who blew themselves up. Savage finds Ran6 as we're into a 3 versus 2. Extra some rise in the back of Site B right now. Minute 40 on the clock. As breaching foam, I believe, has been applied. Oh, no, not quite yet. And they're looking for it. Oh, wait, where's the foam? Somebody had to have bought it, right? Where's the foam? Somebody bought it. Somebody bought it, right? Oh, no. I don't think they have any foam. Oh, this is going to be bad. Very, very bad for Blaze. But they're pushing in. They don't have that second wall open, and Spooky Snoopy's going to get aggressive. They manage to catch Rise, and they pick up the Vezin. Oh, bad, bad, bad for AESIR EU. And, oh, man, that is very, very nice from Blaze, who find their 3rd round. And that's going to be frustrating for AESIR EU as Rise just dropped that Vezin and really couldn't find any use out of it at all. And I was worried for Blaze, especially because they didn't have any breaching foam. So they were just kind of stuck at that door. But, you know, I guess AESIR was so conditioned to wait for that breaching foam to open the wall and hear that explosion that Rise just was not anticipating somebody to push that deep into the site that quickly. And Spooky Snoopy ultimately finding a very important pick there, dropping that Vezin. And here we go. In round number 9 of map number 2, AESIR has the lead, but it's shrinking and quickly. And we could potentially go to a 3rd map here if Blaze finds 3 more rounds. There's the potential for them to find 4 and make it a map win. So that way we go kind of even into our 3rd and final map of the series. But that's not confirmed so far. AESIR still has the opportunity to win this map. They win 1 more round, they're going to be on match points. And the pressure would really be on Blaze to just tie up the map. But again, that's thinking way ahead into the end game. Fragmentation grenade tossed down the hallway, and it doesn't find anybody. Minute 45 on the clock as Blaze have made their way right outside of Site B. And it is going to be somewhat of a split push here by this Blaze team. VRZ manages to find 1 and 2 onto both Mommy Lamb DK and Spooky Snoopy. But meanwhile, the rest of the push is getting set up over here by Blaze. Lagola finding a lot of damage through the wall at a minute 20 on the clock as an incendiary is tossed. Noisy Boy with that breaching foam opens up the wall. Here comes the push, and Akira takes 1. Ran6 takes 1. Noisy Boy finds 1. They find 2. They're looking for 3, but Rise finds that spectral kill to make it a 6-3 game. And we could potentially see AESIR EU close things out with a win after this round. Very, very nice game so far from both teams. And VRZita, crucially, finding those 2 kills, preventing the split push from diverting AESIR everywhere. There's the scoreboard for you. VRZita, they were one of the bottom frags at the beginning of this match, and they've had an incredible turnaround here, now going 9-6 with the highest number of assists once again in the lobby. Kind of funny that that's happened to Zaida twice now. They're an assist champion, but in any case, they've secured the kills as well. Savage taking out Rand 6, and that's going to be a free Vezin for Blaze to get their hands on, and 2 free incendiaries as well. So, not ideal for AESIR. 2 minutes 5 on the clock. As Akira making their way down the stairs just outside of Red Engine. Here comes a frag grenade tossed into site A. C tier. Didn't go where they wanted it to. VRML finding one, looking for a second, and they do catch it. And they're looking for a third. Can they get a third? There's a fragmentation grenade toss. And Noisy's going to pick up some damage from that, but they won't lose too much health. Savage finds the kill onto Akira as VRML shutting down one front, and one front continues to develop. Rise finds that kill, and VRML goes down to Noisy Boys. We're just trading blows between the two sides. Noisy Boy on the head peak. You don't want to get too aggressive, Extras, but it happens anyway. And now the pressure's on to Rise to find these final 2 kills. And I think, again, we're just seeing some unnecessary aggression coming out from AESIR EU. This is going to have to be studied if they decide to do a VOD review. And, well, I guess if you're the #1 team in EU, surely you're doing that. Noisy Boy goes down to Rise. And here's the potential for them to call this a win. Lagolo going to look for the head peek. And the pressure's on Rise here, not only to get the kill on Lagolo, but also to defuse that EMP. Rise is going to go for it. They're going to look to tuck and get that EMP, try and bait that out, and Rise is going to get caught by Lagolo once again and makes it a 6-4 game, with Blaze now just 2 rounds off of tying up this second map. Very, very well played so far. And here we go, into round number 11 of 12. There's the potential, once again, for AESIR EU to pull in a win here on this round, but Blaze is coming off of a round win, and so their money is going to certainly be a lot higher than AESIR's. Only 3 Vezins in the hands of AESIR EU, and they have couple of roamers playing off site. Mummy Lamb Lagolo over by Coffee once again, and it's going to be that helm push onto site A, and it looks like we may have, can't see who that is from the other side of the map, but it's Savage. Savage may try that lone push onto site B, but VRML, the droner, did not clear out a roamer downstairs, but Noisy Boy now sees VRML, and Zaida's going to rotate off. Lagolo finding the kill onto Rand 6, and it's a 5 versus 4. And there goes the 2-prong push as fragmentation grenade is being tossed out. Extras finds the kill, goes down to Mommy Lamb DK. Lagolo finding a kill onto Rise. Mommy Lamb takes out Akira, and it's now just down to VRML in a 1 versus 5. They managed to find a Vezin. May find Noisy Boy, who's looking the wrong way, and they do catch that kill, and Savage takes out Zaida. And it is a 6-5 game, with Blaze now just 1 round off of tying up against AESIR. They can no longer win this series, but they can tie it. Best case here for Blaze is to win this final round. and then tie up map 2 and then push for a win in map 3. And best case here for AESIR is simply to win this round and then close out the series before they have to play a third map. But they've just been unable to really find the pace here against Blaze. Is guided throwing allowed in VRML? It is, yes. You're allowed to use it, and actually some of the teams and players here have already been using some of the guided throwing. You can distinguish that as, or by a player using their left hands and holding their left hand or non-dominant hand up as they get ready to throw the grenade. But here we go, and with 2 minutes and 20 seconds on the clock, round number 12. We can't go any further than this point. And we'll see if AESIR can close things out here, or if Blaze are going to take us to a third map where they could potentially find a tie in the series against AESIR EU, which would be quite the upset. AESIR EU, number 1 in the EU scene. And here we go. Who won the first map? The first map went to AESIR EU 7-4. Minute 35 on the clock, and here we go. The walls have been opened. The frag grenades are tossed, and a D-tier frag as it goes in between the chairs. Rise find the kill on the Lagolo. Good opening for AESIR, but Savage quickly securing a refrag. VRZ is pushing up and completely exposed in the breach here, but oh my goodness, VRZ! What a triple kill! And just like that, blink and you'll miss it. And AESIR EU have secured the series win against Blaze. What a shocking end. If I had to, I was making a prediction in my head. I had a feeling that we were going to be going to a third map. I was sure we were going to see a third map because Blaze EU was very, very locked in that second half, but didn't quite happen. And AESIR EU, very, very nice end of the round there. VRZ, of course, pushing up and getting 3 kills and some quick cleanup. And, 1 second, 4 people are alive, and the next, they're all dead. That was a very, very fun series to watch. And I gotta say, I'm impressed with Blaze there. They managed to do a lot of damage to AESIR EU here. 7-4 in the first game, 7-5 in the second. And that was the number 1 team against the number 6 team. So AESIR EU, they're not quite as dominant as their AESIR NA counterpart, but they did find that series win today, and they closed it out in 2 maps. So very, very good all around from AESIR EU. I've been dying to see how the number 1 team plays, and I think that they are going to go very, very far in this season as well. But that is going to do it for our cast here. Do want to quickly shout out the sponsors, starting off with Triangle Factory, the developers of Breachers VR. Let me quickly take us over to the game lobby, and you can see this really quick. We do have the VRML banners in the in-game lobby, courtesy of Triangle Factory. So thank you very much, Triangle Factory, for that. You can also buy a VRML gun skin in-game right now. It is 100 credits, and you can have a very nice stylized Vezin in there. Of course, we do want to thank Triangle Factory, of course, for contributing to the prize pool of VRML. They've provided us with some finalist gun skins before, which you might have seen some of the players using here from AESIR EU. So big thank you to them and all that they've done for Breachers VRML. Of course, Exclaim, our official VRML merch store. Some of the teams also use it to market their own merchandise. You can create and customize your own merchandise and sell that to your fan base. So if you're interested in doing that and tapping into that new wave of fan engagement, that's what I'm looking for, consider affiliating with the Breachers VRML via Exclaim. Of course, ProTube VR, which provides the best VR stocks and accessories. You can help stabilize your aim in-game by picking up a MagTube stock. Put your controllers into cups that magnetically connect to a fully adjustable stock. With a variety of other products ranging from Beat Saber to joystick mounts, ProTube VR is your one-stop shop for controller peripherals. And finally, HyperX. They have contributed a massive amount to the Breachers VRML as well. I use a HyperX mousepad and keyboard, and some of our casters also use HyperX microphones for their casting. So big thank you to HyperX. But until next time, I'm Gibular Bob, and I'll be live again this evening, actually, 8:15 p.m. EST for Formula 3 versus Invicт. Back over on the NA side of things, and it will be a very, very fun cast indeed. And shout out to Jonesy, who wasn't able to continue the rest of the cast with me, but I did appreciate them jumping in. But for now, that's going to do it for us over here at the Breachers VRML. I'm Gibular Bob, and I will see you all later today. Have a great rest of your day, everybody.